The Hero music video was another fun video to make. I discussed with Matt, the cinematographer, and we decided that because it was more of a comedy type video, that we would use all fixed shots and have the action come from the actors rather than the camera movement. We figured that this is a more effective style for comedy because, as they say, motion creates emotion. But in comedy, you don't really want the camera to create the emotion, you want the actors themselves to create the emotion. The main actor in this one was Armand and his son Liam. We needed a father-son combination so that the look would sell in the video. They were great to work with, and they actually both looked the same too. This video was quite a hard video to produce because we had to film in a lot of different locations and we needed a lot of props. One of the biggest obstacles that we had in this video was the fact that we needed an aeroplane. I felt like because the song talked about a boy going on an aeroplane, then we couldn't really make the video without having an aeroplane in it. It was actually very hard to secure an aeroplane. One of the companies we applied to were Air Chathams. The guy that I spoke to on the phone told me this might be your lucky day. He told me that they have a DC-3 plane that they charter around the country during the summer months, and he said, "Today's Thursday, it's going to be in your area on Saturday. If you can get your film crew and extras together by this Saturday, then we can make it work." It was a pretty short time frame, but basically over 2 days we scrambled together the crew and all the actors that we needed to film the aeroplane scene because we didn't want to miss this opportunity. I hadn't been to this airport before, or I hadn't been in the plane, or I hadn't been on the tarmac, so I didn't know how these shots were going to work. We had about 3 hours in the afternoon to film everything. We basically planned all the shots as we went because we didn't know exactly what the props would be, where everything would be situated and how it would all work. When it came to the aeroplane scene, we had about an hour to film this while the crew were waiting before they parked up the aeroplane. It was actually a lot of fun going out on the tarmac and getting to go into this aeroplane. It had a cool shape to it on the inside and it made it quite cinematic. And I guess being the humorous style of video that it was, it did suit that the plane was an older style of plane. I think it suited the video. Overall, I think the scene came out well, and considering the fact that we had 3 hours to film all of the airport and aeroplane scene, I think it came out as good as what we could expect. The next location we had to secure was a country hall. We looked around for about a month to try and find one that would suit, and nothing was really working, but eventually we found a little country hall. The inside and outside were going to look good for what we wanted. This time we had a bit more time to plan out the shoot. I did go there beforehand and check out the location and plan all the angles we would shoot from to make it easier on the day. We took a day to shoot the hall scene. There was a lot of preparation that went into this because we had to arrange all of the costumes, all of the signs and all of the props. Also, the hall had a lot of other things in it already, so on the day we were shooting we had to take everything down from inside the hall and make it look like a nice empty hall and put it all back up when we finished shooting. A lot of the decorations we just did on the day and we weren't sure how they were going to look. The vertical streamers turned out to be quite effective and we didn't exactly plan those, but we just put them up on the day and realised these would look quite good in the shot. Overall, the hall scene went really well. One of the funny things that happened, which in the end we cut out the shot because we didn't need it, but we did have the judges presenting the cake to the main actors once they had won the competition. One of the judges, Phil, was a friend of the main actors, and all throughout that scene he was playing a joke on the main actors. Before he would go up and shake their hand, he would dip his hand into the cake and put cream all over his hand, walk up to the main actors and shake their hands. Because we were under time pressure, the main actors couldn't respond to this because they knew they just had to keep on acting, even though every time Phil shook their hand, he was putting cream on their hands. By about the third take, they wisened up to what was happening, and before they shook his hand on the third take, they inspected his hand to make sure there was no cream on there. When they saw there was no cream, they shook his hand, but he had cream in the other hand, and he put his other hand on their hand as well, and he got cream on their hand that way. I didn't find out till afterwards that this was happening, and when I watched the video, I could hear the main actors mumbling under their breath about what they were going to do to Phil. But hey, they were all friends. Overall, all of the actors we got for the scene were really good and they were fun to work with. Because it was a father-son type video, we had the main actor and his real son acting in it. Also, the character that played Uncle, we had his son in the audience too. There was also another father-son relationship, which was Mikhail and his father Gregory. They were members of the audience during the talent quest. Another relationship that we had in there that was quite funny were the bananas. That was actually mother and son. We only planned out the day before that they would be bananas and the role that they would play, but they played it really well and I think they made the video quite funny. Oh, and another thing, the reason why I chose Huntly as being the location of the talent quest is actually because that was my hometown. So no disrespect to Huntly, I was brought up there, but it kind of seemed like a comical place to have a talent quest. Overall, I was happy with how the video came out. As always, there were a few things that I would change, but generally speaking, it all worked out well, and I hope that the end result was a product that the viewer enjoys watching. So I think in terms of all of the main actors and all this whole scene.